Future United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt at age 2 wearing a dress, 1884. American airmen are showing the natives a corsair. This is in Ulithi, Yap. The year is 1945. Louisa, Madame Lou Bunch, who lived from 1857 to 1935, managed the most successful brothel in the gold rush town of Central City, Colorado. She was well known for her kindness, and when a disease spread through the area, she and the women who worked for her nursed the sick miners. South African military signallers are happily watching a family of hedgehogs they had adopted. It was July 31st, 1941, and they were in North Africa. Judge Haley, with a sawed-off shotgun provided by Angela Davis taped to his neck, is being pointed at with a gun by Black Panther James McClain. This is a portrait of Cowoots, who was a Caddo Native American. It was taken in 1906. Jacqueline Bisset in the 1960s. The USSR Automobile Racing Championship. There were ZIL 112 Cyclops cars in 1956. A Russian woman carries a small coffin holding her dead child. This took place during the Great Patriotic War. The George Washington Bridge opened in 1931. Jennifer Connelly in the film Career Opportunities from 1991. Ava Gardner taking a selfie, 1947. The excavation of an ancient Assyrian lamassu in the city of Dur-Sharrukin, or Khorsabad. Robert Redford on the set of The Electric Horseman, 1979. There's a monk at Ganden Monastery in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, in 1957. One of the many young newsboys selling late at night in Jersey City, New Jersey, in November 1912. Demi Moore was at the Hard Times special stage performance. This was to benefit the midnight mission of Skid Row. The date was March 23, 1987. It was at the Los Angeles Theater Center in Los Angeles, California. In 1998, long before becoming Pope, Jorge Bergoglio took public transport through the streets of Buenos Aires. A sturgeon weighing almost 135 kilograms was caught in Sestroretsk, Leningrad region. Workers at the Leningrad fish processing plant are examining it, sometime in the 1930s. Anthony Perkins in front of the Ethel Barrymore Theatre in New York in 1957. Larry Flynt during his presidential run, 1983. High school wrestling teammates Kevin James and Mick Foley in 1982. Nora Hildebrandt. She was photographed by Charles Eisenman in 1880. She was one of the first tattooed ladies to perform in the US. Lunchables and thermos lunches, the 90s. Okay, so there's a new thermostat and an old one from 1957. The Scarecrow and Tin Man from the first stage adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, 1902. Director Ousmane Sembène, known to many as the father of African cinema, on his film sets in Senegal, West Africa. It was during a heatwave in Paris, 1928. Behind the scenes, photos from the making of the classic science fiction film The Incredible Shrinking Man, 1957. The good old days of home-delivered milk and cream. How many people remember this? Unfortunately, I do, from the late 1940s or early 1950s. Belle Starr, the infamous bandit queen of the West, lived a life entangled with outlaws and crime. There's a Freedom Summer worker and an African-American child. They're both unidentified, sitting on the porch of the Ruleville Community Center in Ruleville, Mississippi. This was in September 1964. J. Robert Oppenheimer spoke to New York Times reporter William Lawrence, who was on the left during a press visit to the A-bomb blast site in 1945. There's a Fanta shop in Moscow in the Soviet Union during the late 1980s. There's a woman, and she's with her cat. Danica McKellar and Macaulay Culkin at the 1991 Emmys. The 1920s in New York. Pupils are enjoying an outdoor classroom. John Travolta, Phil Lamar, who played Marvin, and Samuel L. Jackson in 1994. An Iran air stewardess before the Iranian Revolution of 1979. In the 1880s, the most popular way of transporting goods and people across the western United States was by stagecoach. It was a long route with many stagecoach stops every few hours along the way. The Simpsons writing room in 1992. A student at the University of Madras ties his hair to a nail to stop himself from sleeping at night. This was while he was studying for his exams back in 1905. The year was 1980 in Sydney, Australia. There was a former boxer there. Brooklyn Bridge, New York, 1900. (1971) Windblown Jackie. A Tokyo department store is getting attention with a new swimsuit line. These young models seem to enjoy the public's gaze. It's 1950. Nicole Kidman in the 1980s. Thousands of Albanians escaped to Italy during the collapse of communism in 1991. August 17, 1945, Sukarno declares Indonesian independence. This would mark the start of the War of Independence against the Netherlands until 1949. Cindy Crawford for Maxim magazine, 1989. Kurt Cobain, 1984. This is a three-wheeled microcar called the Peel P50. It's from England and it was made in 1963. Monica Bellucci at the Venice Film Festival in 1999. The Smoky Sky Lift in Gatlinburg, Tennessee in 1958. The boys found this sign in the shed behind their rental house and put it in the front yard on UF game days. University of Florida, 1999. Bathing babies in sinks was a common practice in the past. The 50s were a different time. Lana Turner, 1943. Cindy Crawford, 1990. The photo was shot by Patrick de Marchelier for British Vogue. Native American girls were trained to be productive, subservient homemakers in the mould of Victorian norms. Office life before the invention of AutoCAD and other drafting softwares. Crown Prince Carol of Romania, who would become King Carol II in 1918. Gwyneth Paltrow, 1996. German Wehrmacht soldiers are on camels in the North Caucasus during World War II. Czechoslovak soldiers are leading an arrested collaborator to be court-judged in Telch, May 1945. Valerie Bertinelli in 1977. Boys are boxing barefoot in the street in Shadwell while a crowd of their friends watch. This is London in 1920. Garry Kasparov in a chess match against the Deep Blue supercomputer, the first time a world champion lost to a computer. That was on May 11th, 1997. It was 1935, and this was the last time Joseph Stalin visited his mother, Keka Geladze. They were in Georgia. In the middle of the group were Lavrenti Beria and Nestor Lakoba. Girl Scouts were selling cookies in 1965. Alright, let's see. We're inside a female student's dorm room at Indiana University in 1948. Burger Queen Tampa, 1950s. Ruth Handler, the executive of the Mattel Toy Company, is posing with a collection of Barbie dolls. A Peruvian lady is posing for the camera in 1868. Angelina Jolie in Mojave Moon, 1996. Stuntman Jackie Paul shows the limitless possibilities of the human body and spirit. He lies between planks of nails as the wheel of a 2.5-ton car is lowered onto him. This happened in Weymouth on September the 27th, 1968. Cameron Diaz in 1994. During the 1980s, there was a punk subculture in Soviet Estonia. Stanley Kubrick and Malcolm McDowell during the filming of A Clockwork Orange, 1971. Puppeteers Jim Henson and Frank Oz were performing as Ernie and Bert for a Sesame Street pilot show in July 1969. It's Elle Macpherson, and the year is 1987. The Fife cantilever was under construction during October 1888. This was the first steel bridge, and it was built with tubes fabricated from sheet steel produced by the Siemens-Martin process. 1936 in Germany. South Korean dictator Park Chung-hee is next to Cheonho Bridge in Seoul, 1976. A bread lunch for a poor family in Shadwell, East London, 1920. Robert Redford and Brad Pitt, 1992. Paul Robeson submitted We Charge Genocide on behalf of the Civil Rights Congress to the UN Secretariat in New York. The document accused the United States of anti-black genocide, citing segregation, police brutality, and other systematic racism. This all happened in 1951. 2 Japanese child soldiers were captured on Okinawa in 1945. They claimed to be 18 and 20 years old. A teenage Whitney Houston auditioned for CBS Records in 1982. The label president, Al Teller, rejected her, feeling her voice lacked maturity. Elektra Records also declined. Lucille Ball as Superman, 1957. Tibetan monks are surrendering their weapons to Chinese soldiers after a failed uprising in 1959. Carrie Fisher, 1982. Elaine Stewart during the 1950s. A man is holding a sign that says, "Down with Tutsi colonization, democracy first, independence later, down with immediate independence." This took place in Rwanda around 1960. Audrey Hepburn as Princess Anne in Roman Holiday, 1953. Keith Moon and Iggy Pop parting with a lust for life, around 1975. Arnold Schwarzenegger was taking ballet lessons in 1976. Motorhead in New York City, 1981. Michael J. Fox and Tom Hanks, 1983. Eddie Murphy is posing with fellow cast member Robin Duke as part of a promotional photo shoot for Saturday Night Live's 7th season. It's New York, 1981. (1963) Sir Winston Churchill is gently petting a deer in Richmond Park, London. Marilyn Monroe is coming out of a chopper to entertain the troops in Korea in February of 1954. Larry Nance at the inaugural NBA Slam Dunk Contest in 1984. King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy and his wife, Queen Elena, are outside their house in Alexandria, Egypt, where they lived in exile in 1947. Vice President Paul Kagame and US Secretary of Defense William J. Perry are talking about what happened and what came after Rwanda's terrible genocide. This conversation took place on July 31st, 1994. Robert Redford and Paul Newman are playing ping pong in 1969. There are nuns keeping their eyes fixed on a fashionable woman during the 1960s. Queen Victoria and her favourite collie named Sharp. During her 64-year reign, she popularised dogs as indoor family pets in the 1860s. The Las Picas is an exercise apparatus that became popular in the late 1960s. It allowed users to contort every which way. Katie Sandwinner gets ready to break a chain over her thigh, 1895. The armourer of the RAF's Middle East Command is getting a bomb ready for its mission against the Italian forces in Africa. This big bomb isn't fused yet, but once it is, it'll be ready for its deadly work. The photo was taken on October 24th, 1940. Russian President Boris Yeltsin and US President Bill Clinton are in front of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's home in New York. That was October 23rd, 1995. It doesn't seem to be bothering these soldiers at all to play ball while wearing their gas masks. This was at the Gas Defense Plant Long Island, New York, between 1917 and 1918. Landing ships are putting cargo ashore in Normandy during the early days of the Battle of Normandy. This was in 1944. A former slave is holding a horn that was used to call slaves. This was near Marshall, Texas, in the United States of America in 1939. The Western College Sewing Class, 1918. Women are preparing to graduate from flight attendant school in 1961. It's an Army Day parade in Taiwan, 1951. Sophie Loren at the Venice Film Festival, 1955. Rebecca Romijn in the 1990s. We vote in 10 states, why not in Massachusetts? Suffragists, 1915. The Dresden Frauenkirche is in Germany. It was constructed from 1726 to 1743 and destroyed in 1945 during the bombing of Dresden in World War II. In the 1960s we have the actress Maria Grazia Bucella,